What's up? Welcome to this evening's live stream. Just now realized my audio is getting messed up. Alright, there we go. I'm listening to my own music because I prefer listening to my own music. I can't actually hear it, so I had to just look. Anyway, I'm going to be working on what I was working on the other day, which is continuing to do a guide review. I don't know. I'm figuring out LM Studio. Everything from the application to all of the things around it. So you could say I'm figuring out the company per se. Just doing some research. So yeah, I'm just hop into it, and I may say words because I happen to be using the transcription of this
Beautiful.
to set up task. So yeah, maybe let me come over here. Hopefully all the volume is fine. Yeah, hopefully it's fine.
Beautiful.
Just looking at one of the open PRs to see if this is from a community member or if this is from the team. This is one of the people. I'm gonna say he is. I'm sure there are other people, but obviously he's the main guy. Alright, so it doesn't seem like he's a part of any org per se. I would expect him to be a part of this org right here. Oh yeah, he's been busy as hell. Oh my gosh. This looks like back when I used to code all the time. Okay, so there's a bot. Okay. Alright, this was open on. Okay. Oh, my bad, Yanni. I'm just now seeing this. I have on. I'm listening to dope music right now. Not what y'all were listening to, so I don't hear any of the stream. But am I building an AI tool? No, I am not. I'm not building an AI tool right now. I think the music volume is louder than the volume from your mic. Is it? You gotta let me know. Cause I don't hear it. Oh, you know what? I know why. Wait a minute, no, that's not it. Alright, how about that? My bad. I forgot that I was gosh, what was it? Yesterday I was recording. I wasn't actually streaming, so I used my Discord mic input. I have more than one mic. I virtualized my mics now. Well, I've been doing it. Not now. I've been doing it. Give me a second to figure out what the name of the tool is. I forget what it's called. Ah, shit. Starts with an L, maybe? We're gonna have to do it this way because I forgot the name of the... I don't know why I forget names. It's getting worse. I remember the concept or no, the image of the thing, but not the actual name. I don't know. Well, I forgot what it's called, unfortunately, but I have virtual mic interfaces. So I have my physical hardware audio interface, and from there, I virtualize interfaces, which allows me to only share certain audio to certain things, maybe. Yeah. So you are hearing my Gosh, what were you hearing? You're hearing like the full, the actual audio interface audio. You weren't hearing my mix. So I get to control my mix with this particular virtualized interface. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I've only heard of Windsurf. I've never used it. I haven't used, like, I did I install it yet? No, it looks like I didn't. So I downloaded Cursor and it looks like that's where I stopped. It's on here somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I downloaded Cursor, but I've yet to use it. I've yet to do any of that AI coding. It's just like, I don't see the point of it. No, I guess it's good for people who don't have the skill set, but I have the skill set. And if I want to review code, which, you know, that's part of the job, I suppose, but I've reviewed more code than most people. And I don't want to turn engineering and building to just code review. That's boring as hell to me. I don't want to read code. I have to, obviously, but I don't want to only read code. And that's kind of what this AI crap is to me. It's just like, okay, it's going to produce some code and then I have to review it and then I have to scrutinize it and reason about it. And it's just like, or I could just write it myself. You know, different strokes for different folks. I'll leave it at that. Wait a minute, this says merged 3 days ago, but there was an action that ran 14 seconds ago. Yeah, they're running a lot of this is probably, well, I guess it's open source, so it's technically free, but this is burning through a lot of resources. PR number, labels, requests. True. Yeah, I want to like what's causing that to do things. All right, so on issue comment, if it's created, oh, if an issue, all right, let's look at the CLA. Oh yeah, this is, I don't know if that needs to happen like that. So my question is, why are we having people required to sign the CLA and only creating issues? Oh, what? What? I thought I copied the link. Anyway, what have you been up to? We didn't see you yesterday in the chat that we had. Yeah, there's so many of these being ran. Yeah, and there's these 403s. I wonder how many of these are resulting in a 403. Oh, church is on Wednesday church. Interestingly, me and my neighbor, I don't know if you met him yet. Christian, have you met him? Anyway, we went to dinner last night and somehow got on the topic of church because he had just went. And I was like, oh yeah, I just walked past the church yesterday and I was contemplating going. Ironically. All right, there is a contributing guide. Okay, look at this. Yeah, there are no. I think I need to adjust this because technically these aren't channels. Oh. I don't know. This it's kind of like marketing, but it's not. This would be a more strong lead right here, where this is expressed interest. I had a bunch of food one time. Oh, it's a shame. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. I remember when we went to the what's that place? When you had the bright idea to go to the steak, the Brazilian steakhouse. I forgot about that. We were gonna go to that the Afghani restaurant. I think we've been there, the Afghani restaurant. And then like midway, he was like, "Oh, I wonder if Tiger May is open." I'm like, "I don't know if they are." And then we happened to pass. He was like, "The Mediterranean restaurant was pretty decent. That's in the parking lot with Tiger May." So I was just like, "Well, this one's right here." I'm like, we can try it. I'm like, we don't have to drive, because he was complaining about going to that area, and you know the area where it's interesting, to say the least, where it's a little uncomfortable, kind of, if you're, used to a certain way of life that I guess 99% of people don't have. It was decent. No, it was decent. I actually enjoyed it because we got to sit outside, which there's no chance that you can sit outside at the Afghani restaurant. I probably should split this out for all of the different repos, but let me read this first off. Thank you for considering. This is command line utility tool. It's under MIT. Many ways to help, from writing tutorials or blog posts, improving the documentation, submitting bug reports, feature requests, contributing code. Okay, so given that there are multiple ways to help, I want to know, all right, well, where are the docs? Like, how do I contribute to the docs here? All right. Did I finish this yet? I did. Okay. Yeah. I'll get into that later. Contributing. You said looking at LM Studio for the first time, running models locally sounds cool. Really? I thought I've definitely talked about LM Studio, even to you specifically, like last year, maybe even the year before that. It's it may not. I don't know if you're able to run it, but maybe you can. Actually, you should try. Can you run it on your Intel Mac? One day when the M5 comes out, maybe if you want, you can purchase this one for a very cheap price, my M1 Max, which is pretty spec'd out. And I mean for like 1,000, which maybe that's not cheap, but yeah, I think that's a good deal, you know, for a well-kept computer. You should try it anyways. Try to do it while streaming. That would be dope. Nah, don't do that, because if it actually fries it, that wouldn't be great. All right, so communication, best way to communicate with the team is open issue in this repo for bug reports. Yeah, give me a link. Yeah. I guess we don't need a link, but why not? You know, links are helpful. It's a nice DX experience. I can remember that actually. All right, so bug reports include steps to reproduce expected behavior and actual behavior. All right, give me a okay. All right, feature request, explain the use case and benefits. Before you contribute, if you find an existing issue you'd like to work on, please comment on it first and tag the team. Okay. I want to see, is that easy to tag the team? And that's basically like, what's the team? Is it just LM Studoo? Yeah, it's not clear. Who is the team? All right, so. I misspelled explicitly. Explicit. Yes, I'm missing the I. Look at that. This allows us to provide guidance and ensure your time is well spent. We discourage drive-by feature periodicity with prior discussion. We want to make sure your effort aligns with our roadmap. Is there a roadmap? Where's the roadmap? I think I talked about that somewhere here. All right, development workflow. Developing LMS requires Node 18. So I forked this repo, which I didn't do. I cloned it, but I'll fork it in a second. Clone your fork. Yeah, basically this is just saying how to do stuff. I'm going to use GitHub Desktop because why wouldn't I? Run npm install, run npm watch. Go to this folder and run and test your changes. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And this is just about writing PRs, which, you know, we can have PR templates. I would do that. Then there's a code review, maintenance review your PRs ASAP. I would give it time, you know, ASAP is nice, but like, you know, something like within 48 hours, within 72 hours. We may request changes or clarification. Also, there should be a time limit placed on here. Once approved, the maintainer will merge your contribution. Okay, so we're gonna see how this experience is. And I wanna say that if I create a new branch, it should ask me tests. It didn't, God dang it. Just when not, man, all right. I guess because I did open, so I'm going to remove this because I want VS Code, not VS Code, desktop to set this up. And we'll remove that. Cool. Clone the repo. Let's go into LM Studoo AI. This is LM Studoo AI LMS. It didn't do it. God dang it. God damn it. I wonder why it didn't do that. Normally it offers to do that. There's nothing here, okay. All right, screw it. I will just fork it, and then that should force it to do it because GitHub will know it's a fork. We'll fork this under code and color. No. My personal one. You try running a llama. How did that go? Okay, we've done the thing, and all right, let's see if there are any issues I can play with. Oops. Of course, this is where I was like, you know, having issues labeled. All right, this may be something I could do. It's still open. But it was proposed and approved and merged. The command line LMS version does not show the version. I'm pretty sure it does. Oops, I'll come to here. Yeah, it does show the version. So we have still issues that weren't closed. This should be closed. So it was there the whole time, and it's been addressed. Now, I wonder if I change my font colors, will that fix it? What did he do? Let's see. Yeah, that looks like it's been addressed. That would have been easy for me to fix. So I went to that. The command line LMS version. Okay, I just looked at that. Add full support for Omni models. Studio develops a dedicated AI model. Add internet search and deep think to any model. Disconnected. Stopping generation. Support for MCP. Is there any conversation behind that? All right, this is worse pegging, like keeping. Man, Intel has an Intel Ultra now. Why does everyone just copy Apple and then at the same time try to talk shit about Apple? I think the Ultra, Max, all these naming things are stupid, even with Apple. But the fact that all these other companies just glaze Apple and do whatever they do is kind of embarrassing. It went fine. Fans were loud, but everything worked. Downloaded the one with the smallest parameter though. Didn't try the large ones. Was your computer hot at all? Did it get hot? The reason why I'm asking is because I am in the middle of an internet. It's devolved into an argument because my opponent is literally trash. Like, hold on, we're about to we're about to diverge a little bit. So has he responded? No, he hasn't responded back yet. Let me go to this video right quick.
All I wanted.
Video is great, you know. Anyways, we're about to get into some internet flame war, and I guess some of y'all may learn that I'm not to be taken lightly when it comes to this internet stuff. Anyway, here is a comment that I left, and I think that y'all have seen this. If you've been watching my live streams for any length of time, you know all of these things to be true. I do this, right? So I'm like, here's my comment. I'm gonna read it. I can edit and render 4K video while streaming at 1440p at 60 frames per second. Haha, I'm doing that right now. While simultaneously recording, have hundreds of tabs open. I don't have hundreds right now. Work on iOS with the simulator running, Android with the emulator running, and that includes Xcode and Android Studio, as well as Visual Studio Code and other crap. Work on web projects with Postgres and Redis running, run Docker containers. Post supply was, that was several Docker containers running. Run both Windows and Linux in a VM, track audio from MPC into live with dozens of effects and VSTs, run an LLM locally, edit giant macro photo stacks simultaneously while outputting to two 5K monitors, one 6K monitor, one 4K monitor, and all this on my Mac and never hear a fan. So this is my comment. And then after here, obviously I got to give this, I don't know his actual name, but Camera Conspiracies, he's someone I subscribe to. Obviously, I like the video. I'm like, I take for granted how little I have to worry about my hardware because that's true. It just works for the most part. It's entertaining hearing you talk about how good a motherboard is though. So this is the comment that I left. And then here comes your computer. Oh, wait. No, that's the wrong one. Hold on. With the exception of rendering a 4K video and using LLMs on the CPU, though the Mac isn't expected to run them on the CPU, hence no CPU fan noise. It's like, really? Anyway, none of those other things will heat up the CPU to the point that it will require increased RPMs on the CPU fan. Nevertheless, these days, the loudest fans tend to be the GPU fans. So this is one of these fake ass people who think they know stuff, and they're used to being able to talk to certain people because I guess they're above average, which is the worst thing to be, is to be slightly above average, because when you encounter someone who's above you, it's hard to fathom. Anyway, he's gonna find out very soon. Don't worry. All right, here we are. So why did it heat up my CPU on my i9, i7, and i5 Max? Obviously, you know more about computing experience than me. My computing experience. I think that's about my computing experience to me. I guess he missed that part. Please help me understand why my non-Apple Silicon Macs would regularly see temps approaching 100 degrees. And then to which he replies, Intel processors aren't really known for achieving good temperatures, especially not in tight enclosures, especially when the GPU is integrated into the CPU itself and are tasked with rendering 4K video, or using LLMs to generate media content. But for all the other things mentioned, i.e. live streaming, running VMs, containers, rendering sound, etc., it shouldn't have come anywhere near 100 degrees Celsius unless you were doing expensive operation on these VMs or containers, or perhaps there was a design flaw with the hardware. Intel might not be great when it comes to temperature, but it also isn't that bad either. Now here's where, you know, he starts to get a little bit off the rails. For whatever reason, this argument, and I've even mentioned this to people in person who know me, anytime you use the word should, that's a trigger for me, where it's just like, I don't give a fuck what should be the case. I only care what is the case. And when people devolve into, it should do this, it's like, okay, well, reality isn't under no obligation to respect what should be the case. Anyway, we'll go on. So here we are to the next thing. I've never had a machine with integrated graphics. I've always had a discrete graphics. Anyway, my iMac Pro didn't fare much better. It typically hovered around 80 to 85 degrees. To be clear, I don't run Ableton in Windows, but VSTs do indeed consume a lot of CPU cycles. Not sure why you think they don't. Pretty much all my workloads are CPU bound, save for the video and photo tasks. That said, having photo documents up doesn't consume much, but having several tools running during my work did pack the CPU, mostly because I ran things in debug mode with profiling on to aid with debugging. Okay, all right. You know, mostly okay. And then he comes back, I run FL Studio on Windows through a VM. As someone who used to run FL Studio, I'm gonna be real, it doesn't require much. Anyway, I daily drive Linux with lots of VSTs, and it barely does anything to CPU temps. I didn't say rendering audio doesn't consume CPU cycles. Interesting. Anyway, the subject was temperature, of which it barely impacts. I also deliberately avoid integrated graphics. Also run several VMs, Docker containers, and do WebRTC based live streaming with live video scaling, and am a full stack developer / software engineer that constantly runs prototypes. It's going to go somewhere. Don't worry. I like to match energy, and you're going to find that I match it well. Temperatures barely impacted unless I run expensive operations. My desktop computer has an Intel processor i5, 14 cores that I underclocked, both the boost and non-boost frequencies to help the temperatures below 70 C under heavy workload. So he had to underclock it to, anyway. Otherwise, the CPU temps would be around 85 C under heavy load. On idle, it hovers around 48 C. My motherboard displays the CPU temperature on an onboard display, so I know my exact temperatures at all times. Yes, prototypes, bro. Don't worry. This is actually a masterclass in how you completely destroy people on the internet, and you'll understand in a bit. Right now, it seems like, okay, what are you saying? But you will understand in a second, because he said something where I was just like, okay, well, you want to change this from just regular internet banter to an actual debate. And I don't think he's prepared for debating someone who's done it in high school and college. I don't think he's prepared. I don't think he realized that, yes, I am someone who does this. So I decided to show him in a bit. As you can see, we have very similar use cases, but you're the only one complaining. I don't remember complaining, but sure, about temperature when doing minor tasks. And then he's belittling my work, calling them minor tasks, without realizing that these minor tasks that I've done have earned me $3.5 million in my career so far. I wonder how much he's earned. So I don't know what else to tell you other than there was a potential design flaw in your system that could not have been overcome by sticking with Intel. Also, my system is air cooled and I wouldn't say it has the best airflow. And again, he's like no one asked him to say anything. No one asked him to say anything. So, all right, so I respond, Loss can mean anything to the point of meaning nothing, and it doesn't even begin to acknowledge all VSTs are not created equally. There are certainly some that do consume more compute than others, especially when running at sub 256 sample buffers. But that's good for you that your admittedly small projects don't cause your CPU to sit at 80 to 85C. Could you please refer to my original comment and tell me where I complained about temperatures at all? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and assume English is not your first language for conflating an observable fact with a complaint. My CPU regularly touched 95 and I have live streams of that fact. I think you watched some of those live streams, Johnny, if I'm not mistaken. So he's calling into question your observed experience as well. But anyway, I'm happy to say that you're right, that noticing the number and recounting it is not a complaint, and that in today's doublespeak world. Surely, I don't doubt you're running multiple VMs, emulators, simulators, while live streaming to 3 platforms and simultaneously recording it all, as I've stated, but I don't believe your CPU on your laptop is below 85C. I call BS on that. And I'm not sure what gave you the impression I'm a web developer. Honestly, I've never been one, and that's true, I've never been a web developer. Although admittedly, I dabble for personal projects. I can't say your small workloads are similar to the ML workloads I regularly run, but let's agree to disagree on that. I was hoping that would be it. As for what to tell me, best not to assume you're in any position to tell me anything of value when I never asked you to. I'm doing quite well with my system, but thanks. I don't know, bro. I don't know how it's a minor task, but I don't think he realizes. And this is what I'm not going to get into the attacks on him, but I'm just like it was kind of a hint that it's like, bro, you're not in a position to. I don't want to be in your position. As far as I know, I don't think people in the top 1% want to switch places with people in the bottom 99. I don't know that to be the case. It may be true though. I just don't know any of those people. Let's keep going because it gets better. When you attempt to provide a list, I think I did do that, but all right. Anyway, this is again belittling and is condescension. I can't speak the word. That word, you know the word. When you attempt to provide a list of tasks as to imply CPU, GPU workload and then end with fan noise, you're deliberately implying temperature. I mean, that's all right. This implication is further confirmed when you follow up with rhetoric that implies that I am ignorant of your use case and questioning me as to why your system was pushing 100C. The thing is that this isn't an implication, this is a fact. This person is indeed ignorant of my use cases. Human nature reveals this to be a sign of discontent. All right, we're getting into philosophy here. Especially when you take into consideration how easily many people are irritated by fan noise. Logical conclusions are logical. I would agree that English is my second language and would state that logic is my first language. This is what turned it right here. So I was like, all right, well, since you want to play the logic game, this is my world. If it was not your intent to be so revealing, you should consider a better choice of words. I don't know what he's talking about. Yes, lots is ambiguous, but I do not see how I was using the term any different than the way you were using it. I don't remember using the word lots anywhere. The nice thing about FL Studio is that it comes with demo projects that tend to use significant greater number of VSTs than my typical projects do. And I've seen those demo projects. They are indeed demo projects. But neither of those demos cause my temperatures to raise. As such, I label them as simple tasks, just like I label accessing databases, running multiple servers and VMs, live streaming, among others, as simple tasks. I know a lot of people who would disagree that these are simple tasks. For these things, do not generally spike CPU temperatures, except when you run expensive tasks on them. This is, I tackle the logic. I'm not going to do it here. I wrote responses to the logic. For example, intensive benchmarks, 4K transcoding, remuxing, intensive LLMs, etc. Note that the use of word intensive for not all benchmarks for LLMs causes a spike in temperatures. You're free to call BS on my laptop not running below 85C, for I never said I own one. I only bore mention to my desktop computer. If you're assuming a laptop, that would be due to your own use case, which he said that anyway, of which would explain your poor temperatures from poor airflow and tight enclosures, i.e. poor design, and the fact that it's running on Intel. That sounds like literally the whole point of what I was saying. Although I don't recall calling you a web developer, the term web developer loses meaning with me. If it loses meaning, he brought it up. I never said, all right. The line in the sand has been blurred significantly. Of course, I don't have to inform you of anything, but then you also don't have to continue responding to me as if to try to inform me of something. All right. But he said logic. So I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then, I'm just like, all right, perhaps you didn't watch the video. He specifically mentioned fan noise and how loud it is. Maybe you should refine your logic to realize when someone is sticking to a topic raised in the video. I also know that I'm free to assume your use case is the same as mine when you literally stated we have similar use cases. For someone as logical as you, I'd expect you to follow my reasoning for assuming you're using a laptop as I was, since your use case is similar beyond the fact that you are using a computer. I wish you spoke their language of logic more effectively. I see a typo here. This is my bad. I wouldn't expect someone as versed in logic to start out a response to a comment not directed to you to begin with a straw man and a hasty generalization, then continue on with a false dichotomy, ignoring the fact that Apple Silicon integrated the CPU and the GPU, implying that the only reason for a machine to be loud is if you have a discrete GPU, something I know to be false. And then to follow up with another comment where you beg the question, saying Intel may not be so great with temps, yet it isn't so bad. Who are you to tell me what's good or bad? I hope someone claiming to be strong in logic would notice logical errors in their arguments before claiming to be logical. And I have a little nice clown emoji because he's getting into clown territory. But don't worry, I start to cook him now. Right now, this is me preheating the pan. I'm like, all right, I've identified something to cook. Let me just get my pan out, put it on the stove, and let's turn on the heat a little bit. And I'm gonna put some oil in the pan, and then I'm gonna start cooking them very soon. You completely sidestepped my original argument with a red herring about overall system performance to some idiotic argument about bad enclosures, and then you decide to diminish my very real claims by shifting the goalposts, talking about underclocking, completely missing the point that all I had to do with my current machine is buy it. It just works. Your attempt to discredit my work by alluding its only minor tasks further misses the point that my Mac handles all of my workloads with no issues when my Intel Macs didn't. Falling into a mind-reading fallacy by assuming my intent for sharing my experience is nothing more than passive-aggressive projection. I make no claims to be as logical as you, but I do reject that claim simply for offering a tautological statement that does nothing more than waste bandwidth. Logical conclusions are logic. And yes, I did laugh when I read it initially. Sounds like an attempt to use precise language to imply your argument is sound. It's not. As for my intent, I'll use the words I wish. I don't care to be tone policed by someone in a position I don't desire to be in. Make of that what you will. In the future, if you are to make a claim as asinine as being logical, at least assume the person you're talking to may have some experience in rhetoric and capable of seeing through loaded language. The poor thermal handling of my Intel Macs has nothing to do with me and are objectively inferior to Apple Silicon, and I think that's been proven. I expect a logical person to acknowledge this objective fact. I'll keep responding simply because I haven't engaged in debate since I graduated college. You can say it's a bit of a sport. I'll play with anyone who wants it. And yes, I did write this on a phone. It was written on a phone. So then he decides that he wants to go in. So I'm like, all right. Let's hear his response. We're getting to the good part. After this is where I'm like, okay, I'm about to dismantle you. The only time he speaks about noise regarding his own system is within the context of user error. Now he's calling this dude user error. All right, sure. And it was mostly restricted to the brief introduction video, as well as the end. Are you saying your entire comment revolves around that tiny segment in the beginning? Did you not notice the part where he said he achieved a silent PC, of which he mentions at least twice? The second time he complains about noise, Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Do y'all see the contradiction? I know I said I was going to wait, but do you see the contradiction? The only time he speaks about noise, and then the second time he complains about noise. Wait, so it only means one, but the second time? No, okay. See, shit like that doesn't just go by me. Anyway, the second time he complains about noise is regarding someone else's computer setup. What shall we say then? Your entire comment revolves around someone else's setup. This is a question. Perhaps it was you who didn't watch the video. Indeed, do inform me what part of this is a hasty generalization and a straw man on my part. This is where he fucked up. Do I have my, hold on, let me see. Do I have my, this is where you fucked up? I probably don't.
Bruh.
Hold on. Did y'all hear that? I don't know. I can't hear the stream.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Whatever that is, I hope it was at this point. This is when, I hope that's what it said. I don't know what it said. Okay. Is it not you who exercises fallacy? Speaking of which, none of my comments on human nature are hasty generalization, neither a straw man. The default state of human nature is one that seeks to avoid effort. Therefore, to observe effort from human nature, as per your original comment, offers much explanation as to desire to comment on anything. It's hard for me to read that sentence. I'm gonna read it again because it's really difficult. Therefore, to observe effort from human nature, as per your original comment, offers much explanation as to the desire to comment on anything. And yes, that includes passive aggressiveness. Indeed, guess who else's computer just works? The one in the video. Not to mention my own, that I had to underclock. He didn't say that, but he did do that. Technically speaking, your own comments were dismissed the moment you decided to comment, but you were given a different impression about his computer. To some extent, you're excused for being blinded by your own emotion and by your observably poor memory. I do have a bad memory, I'm not even gonna lie, but that's why I write. But to continue on repeating the same mistakes over and over is a cry for help at this point, of which I'd be happy to assist you in curing yourself of. Right, a poor person helping me. Right, okay, sure. sure, buddy. I'm aware that Apple Silicon computers have integrated GPU in their CPU, but that was never part of the discourse. But it is. We're talking about performance. I thought you didn't ask about why your Apple Silicon computer is loud or reaching high temperatures. Why would I see? This is why I had to just dismantle. I'm like, why would my whole argument is that it doesn't get hot. I don't hear anything. That was the whole point of my original comment, which I thought was just okay, this is my experience. You asked about the previous generations, which are not Apple Silicon based, which is why I said Intel. I think I even called that out. Any observable thermal issues are clearly the result of having used Intel CPUs, and because it's placed within a tight enclosure. You don't even need logic to know this. It's simple physics. This is true regardless of your current situation, since you didn't ask about your current situation. I'll read that again. This is true regardless of your current situation, since you didn't ask about your current situation. This is someone who thinks that they don't realize that they're outmatched. After all, if a person is the most content with their current situation, they are not expected to complain about it, as per human nature. What the fuck? I never suggested that the only reason my machine is loud is because of GPU. I said nowadays the loudest fan tends to be the GPU fan. That statement is true because it was said in general and not a hasty generalization. And we're getting there. We're getting to I'm about to start cooking. Considering how bad your memory is regarding the video itself, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised that you can't even remember what I said. At this point, I can only be glad that you would never claim to be as logical as me. Indeed, we wouldn't want you to create a comparison that would be so blatantly false. Sadly, you go on to declare yourself as having made better use of logic. So this is like, okay, challenge accepted. Considering postmodern observations, perhaps it is your college education that makes you who you are today. That doesn't, okay. But I don't care either how you present yourself. I simply said if you do not wish to present yourself a certain way, then don't. Indeed, why complain about how you are perceived when you're the one portraying yourself exactly how you wish to be, how you wished to portray yourself? Okay. This is where okay, sure. And I even warned them. I'm like, sure, since you asked me to point out the fallacies in your arguments, let's go. I'll use your exact words. So there's no room for interpretation. And these are his exact words. And I did write this on my computer so I can quote him directly. With the exception of rendering a 4K video and using LLMs on the CPU, none of those other things will heat up the CPU to the point that will require increased RPMs on the CPU fan. That was your first hasty generalization. You dismissed live streaming, emulators, running Redis, Postgres simulators, WebStack VMs, assuming they shouldn't spike temps. That's not how thermals work. I replied, so why did it heat up my CPU? That's not a complaint. That's a rebuttal based on real usage across multiple machines. You followed with, Intel might not be great when it comes to temperature, but it also isn't that bad either. That's begging the question. You're concluding that Intel thermals aren't bad without refuting that my real world experience says otherwise. You also moved the goalpost by implying I shouldn't expect heat because of integrated GPUs. I clarified. I never had a machine with integrated graphics. I always had discrete graphics. My iMac Pro didn't fare much better. It hovered around 80-85. So again, your assumption didn't hold. I also run several VMs, Dockers, containers. Yeah, this is him. And I'm an engineer, basically. Tossing in I'm a software engineer as if it settles the argument is a textbook appeal to authority. Credentials don't make an argument sound. Evidence and logic do. I didn't list mine because this isn't a resume contest. If your claim is valid, it should stand without needing to name drop your job title. You're the only one complaining about temperatures when doing minor tasks. This was ad hominem and false equivalence. You minimized my workload, called it minor, and tried to use your underclocked desktop to prove that I was exaggerating. That's not just wrong, it's misleading. My reply clarified that I ran in debug mode, profiling heavy code on top of multiple simultaneous platforms, and I stated, pretty much all my workloads are CPU bound, save for video and photo tasks. You didn't respond to the content, you tried to invalidate it. Lots can mean anything to the point of meaning nothing. I also never said all VSTs are lightweight. This was an attempt to walk back to your original claim that VSTs don't affect temps. I responded, could you please refer to my original comment and tell me where I complained about temperature ever? My CPU regularly touched 95, and I have live streams of that fact. You falsely equated observation with a complaint, either a bad faith assumption or a clear misunderstanding. I gave you the benefit of the doubt and suggested maybe English isn't your first language. Instead of clarifying, you doubled down. And then I never suggested that the only reason why my machine is loud because of the GPU. I said nowadays the loudest fan tends to be a GPU fan. That's a Mott and Bailey. For what it's worth, if y'all don't know about this, Mott and Bailey is a bait and switch. All right, stat. Your original implication was to downplay thermal concerns by redirecting attention to the GPU. When challenged, you retreated to a general truism that couldn't be contested. I called that out in plain terms. Now you're saying, perhaps it was you who didn't watch the video. Are you saying your entire comment revolves around the tiny segment in the beginning? That's a straw man, and that's literally a textbook straw man. I specifically referenced the repeated mentions of fan noise in the video, my exact words. Perhaps you didn't watch the video. He specifically mentioned fan noise and how loud it is. You framed my comment as being just the intro, so you could knock it down more easily. That's misdirection, not logic. You claim the default state of human nature is one that seeks to avoid effort. Therefore, that includes passive aggressiveness. That's false. That's false cause and speculative psychoanalysis. You're pretending to read my intent based on a half-baked philosophy of human nature. I shared personal observations about my system's performance. You tried to twist that into an emotional projection. That's not debate, that's gaslighting. Your comments were dismissed the moment you decided to comment. That's a self-refuting argument. By that reasoning, every one of your replies dismisses itself too. It's not logic, it's rhetorical theater. Then came your ad hominems. You were blinded by your own emotions and by your observably poor memory. That's not engagement. That's character assassination. You couldn't refute the point and tried to discredit me. That alone undermines your stance about logic being your first language. By the way, I did quote that. Guess who else's computer just works? The one in the video, not to mention my own. That's false equivalence. My point wasn't that it just works. It handles massive concurrent workloads silently. and reliably without underclocking or tweaking. You made that equivalence to try to flatten the argument. I said explicitly, all I had to do with my current machine is buy it. It just works. My Mac handles all my workloads with no issues, where my Intel Mac didn't. Your reply ignored the difference in out-of-the-box experience and system efficiency. Logical conclusions are illogical. That's a tautology. It adds nothing. It just sounds like a mic drop, but logically it's empty. My reply called it what it was: a tautological statement that does nothing more than waste bandwidth. This is a cry for help. I'd be happy to assist you in curing yourself. And later, considering post-modern observations, perhaps it is your college education that makes you who you are today. That's gaslighting, condescension, and more ad hominem. None of that addressed the topic. It just attacked me. I never went after your character. I dissected your claims precisely and stayed on topic. I stated clearly, I make no claims to be as logical as you, but I do reject that claim simply for offering a tautological statement that does nothing more than waste bandwidth. You created a philosophical echo chamber, ignored direct quotes and clarified context, and built your arguments on false interpretations, shifting claims, and rhetorical misdirection. I've shown exactly where your points fall apart. I respect honest disagreement, but if you're going to posture with logic as my first language, I'll hold you to it. Based on what I've seen, your argument isn't fluent, it's performative. You're not debating logic, you're just trying to sound like you are. Don't confuse confidence with correctness, or verbosity for sound reasoning. Oh, and one last thing, your fixation on dubbing my responses a cry for help is almost poetic, and how badly it misses the mark. When someone lays out facts, context, and direct quotes while you retreat into psychoanalysis, it's not logic you're using, it's deflection. You keep recycling that line of thought because it's easier to dismiss my argument than to admit it dismantles yours. Lets you avoid accountability while pretending to rise above the conversation, props up your ego, framing yourself as the rational savior, diagnosing others from a self-built pedestal, and truthfully it's projection. You're flailing for control. I'm not crying for help. I'm holding up a mirror and I understand why you don't like what you see. There's more, don't worry. He decided that he want more. So I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. Let's take a break. We good? Are we here? I'm just curious. Anyway, let's read it. Let's see what he has to say. This was 4 hours ago. I must admit that the effort you put into your response is worthy of another response from me. It's interesting that he thinks that I put in effort into that response. It's just interesting. That's an assumption he's making. I hadn't seen this level of effort in a long time. That tells me that he's not used to putting in effort into his own things, because if like I put in effort to everything. It's just me. I did not dismiss live streaming. I don't think he understands how the word accept means. When you say the word for the exception of these two things, you are literally dismissing the other thing, but I don't think logic is really what he's good at this point. Anyway, I did not dismiss live streaming. I said with the exception of 4K rendering. This is literally an admission of what this, anyway. It is simple to dismiss emulators, Redis and Postgres, web stacks, hundreds of tabs opens, VMs, etc., since these wouldn't spike up temperatures under typical use cases, since emulators aren't typically intensive, and the others would be mostly idling, of which shouldn't, again, this word shouldn't, I hate this word, require more than 1 to 2% CPU load, and tabs will idle out, reducing memory. At what point did we go from CPU to memory? That's my question. Like, at what point were we talking about memory and not thermal performance? But okay. If you were perhaps performing benchmarks on these, whether or not the temperatures would spike would depend on the benchmark. But it wasn't until now that you mentioned that your debug mode profiling was heavy. Previously, there was no use of the word heavy. Even so, my statements were not without exceptions. But for temperature to remain below 100°C in a tight enclosure under heavy workload, the CPU likely down throttled to keep temperatures in check, which will confirm that Intel isn't too bad. That's a mouthful. But the true issue is that you asserted that your system typically hovered around 85°C. Typical here is ambiguous. Is it ambiguous, since it cannot be discerned if you were talking idle temps or While under load, typical means that generally it was at 8. Anyway, simply stating that your system was known to go as high as 100C also leaves room for interpretation. Whatever the case, the obvious cause of the temperature would be a bad design, i.e. tight enclosures, potentially poor voltage handling on the CPU, a la Intel. This is not a fallacy, but okay, sure. That's simply how things work. A question is not a rebuttal and could very well pose as a complaint. Okay. A question is a complaint. Okay. I've just learned something new today. But that wasn't the statement I was referring to when I accused you of complaining. And he proceeds to not actually share the statement, but stating that Intel isn't the best at temperature while also stating that they aren't too bad either is not begging the question. That's literally, that's textbook. You know what? There's no circular reasoning present in that statement. We're going to pull up ChatGPT in a bit. Seriously, that's where we're about to go. Cause I'm like, this is textbook right here. Technically speaking, your real world experience was misguided. Again, more with the ad hominem and belittling my work. My experience is misguided. And I never asserted anything implying integrated graphics. Clearly, if the GPU is integrated, then there exists no GPU fan, in the sense that the CPU fan is also the GPU fan. As such, if there's a GPU fan, clearly that's a discrete card. You were the one who inserted that assumption into my statement. I can't be blamed for your mistake. No goalpost was moved. It's no wonder why you think my claim on what is typical of the loudest fan nowadays was not a general statement. After all, you were not able to understand that integrated graphics would share the same fan. Okay, all right, sure. I did not toss in software engineering to assert authority. I tossed it in to show that I'm not ignorant of your use case and that your use case is basically my profession. I live it daily. As such, there's nothing invalid about me calling your use cases minor in terms of workload. It's ironic that you accuse me of invalidating your use case, as you also attempt to do the same to me. I never asked this use case. I never even mentioned this use case. I don't care about this use case, but okay. The only way for such an accusation to act as a valid counter argument to the things that I say is if I were to be ignorant of your use case, which you are. Unfortunately for you, I'm not. Okay. Your use case, apart from the exceptions mentioned, are in fact minor. If you observe rising temperatures for minor workloads, it's not because of the workload itself. Hence, how you perceive your system is itself misguided. This is not an attack on your person. This is simply stating observable facts, hence not a false equivalency. I don't think he understands what that means. None of my statements were without exceptions. You choosing to ignore the exceptions were mentioned and focus solely on everything else is no fault of mine. In the world of logic, that is known as a straw man and taking things out of context. The only time he mentions fan noise in the video is within the context of user error and regarding industrial fans for someone else's setup. It's pure fact. Saying something is pure fact doesn't make it so. I wish people understood that. This is not a straw man. You clearly failed to grasp the video. Indeed, in the same video, he mentions achieving a quiet system more than once. But in the previous, he said that he only said it once. But now he's saying more. Okay. Contradiction aside, there's literally no point in bringing up something that already was solved. You're trying to save face by accusing me of fallacy. No, you just didn't pay attention to the video. That's a you problem, not a me problem. That's per human nature. Why would someone resurrect an issue that was clearly already solved prior to commenting? Likewise, why would anyone double down on something they're so clearly wrong about? If your comments were dismissed the moment you chose to comment, that wouldn't invalidate my comments. It would make my comments redundant, but redundancy isn't necessarily invalid. Sure, the comment on your education can be seen as an attack on your person, but falsely accusing me of things would be an attack on mine. And that's without mentioning how you suggested my words to be a waste of bandwidth, which they are, and that English is a prerequisite to engage in meaningful conversation, which I never said that. I said that I'm going to assume that English isn't his first language, given that I'm writing my comments in English. And he seems to not understand. I have no issue removing rhetoric and personal attacks from my comments, but the only time I attacked anyone personally is after showing that they're wrong. And that's not an ad hominem, since ad hominem is without justification. Once justification is provided, it's simply sequitur. I could care less if you do it to me, so long as you offer justification. But each time you reply, you keep piling up fallacy. All right. Here's my last response 2 hours ago. It's a doozy. I'm gonna keep responding. You know? Your latest reply doesn't refute anything. It confirms what's been evident for a while now. You're not debating to arrive at the truth. You're arguing to protect your ego. There's a difference. And while you accuse me of misunderstanding, misquoting, and misrepresenting, you've yet to quote me once, and you've mischaracterized nearly everything I've said. In your latest reply, you're exhibiting textbook deflection, layered in vague qualifiers, misapplied logic, and armchair hardware theory. You're qualifying everything to avoid accountability, and I give explicit examples. None of my statements were without exceptions. This right here is a qualifier. I never said it was heavy. This is a qualifier. You didn't say heavy before. Now you did. A qualifier. You're moving the goalpost retroactively. Whenever I prove a fallacy, you respond by pretending you left enough wiggle room so nothing can never be wrong, only misunderstood. You're reframing tone as fact. This is not an attack on your person. This is simply stating observable facts. This is tone laundering. You rephrase insults as facts so they feel more legitimate, but saying your experience is misguided or you're wrong because you misunderstood everything still attacks my credibility. It's just cloaked in soft academic lingo. You're redefining fallacies to escape them. Ad hominem is only a fallacy if there's no justification. Stating you're wrong, then insulting you isn't a fallacy, it's sequitur. This is textbook sophistry. You're twisting definitions. A justified insult is still an ad hominem when used to attack the person instead of the argument, especially when it follows an unrelated justification. You're trying to lawyer your way out of a logical failure. Unfortunately for you, that doesn't work for me. As I've said, this is a sport for me. So here's a point-by-point dismantling of your logic, in quotes, because it's not logical. None of my statements were without exceptions. You're retrofitting qualifiers to make your claims unfalsifiable, my bad. Nothing can be wrong if everything is assumed to have an exception. That's not logic, that's insulation. Previously, there was no use of the word heavy. You're nitpicking semantics to avoid the meaning I've conveyed since the start. My workloads are CPU bound and sustained. I didn't need to use your preferred adjectives to validate the point. You're just dodging. Computers don't wait for the word heavy before managing thermals. Sustained multitasking across multiple performance cores, even without explicit benchmarking, triggers thermal load, fan curves, CPU scaling. You don't need Cinebench running to reach operating thresholds under real use. Emulators, Redis, VMs mostly idle. Not if they're doing something. Suppose you're debugging, compiling, syncing, running containers, tracking audio through DSP plugins, and using simulators or hosting services. In that case, those processes are absolutely CPU bound, especially with low latency constraints or telemetry overhead. Saying they are mostly idle shows you're thinking about toy setups, not real workloads. Remember, this is kind of a job at his prototypes. I didn't come out and directly say it, but it's kind of like you over here running prototypes and you over here anyway. If temps go up, it's probably down throttling, proving Intel isn't so bad. No, it proves the system had to throttle to avoid thermal failure. That's a bottleneck. It doesn't prove Intel is fine. It proves that Intel chips in certain form factors can't sustain performance on the real world load. That's the entire point of my original comment and what Apple Silicon resolved. You didn't say heavy before. I didn't need to. I described the workloads. Anyone familiar with system behavior should recognize they're non-trivial. Simulators, Docker, Redis, video rendering, LLM inference, and real-time audio do not idle. They scale core usage, memory bandwidth, and I/O. The word heavy was embedded in the context. You missed the implication. That's on you. Technically speaking, your real-world experience was misguided. No, it was documented, repeatable, and shared with context. You quoted nothing and responded to even less. Instead, you redefined terms mid-discussion. That's not logic, it's evasion. You're the one who inserted that assumption into my statement. I can't be blamed for your mistakes. You're backpedaling from generalizations by blaming me for interpreting what you implied. You downplayed CPU heat by saying, these days the loudest fans tend to be GPU fans. Then when called out, you pivoted to context only you could see. That's not precision, it's a retreat. I tossed software engineering to show that I'm not ignorant of your use case. That's an appeal to authority. You cited no benchmarks, data, or evidence. You name dropped your title and assumed that it would legitimize your dismissiveness. But being a software engineer doesn't make you an expert in SoC design, thermal envelopes, or OS level scheduling. That's like saying being a front-end dev makes you an expert in chip architecture. It doesn't. Your explanation shows you don't fully understand how systems behave under sustained load, yet you still felt qualified to call my use case minor. That's not logic, that's hubris. Ad hominem isn't fallacy if it's justified. That's not how fallacies work. Ad hominem means attacking the person instead of the argument. Saying you're wrong and also dumb is still a fallacy, even if you think it's deserved. If your comments were dismissed the moment you chose to comment, that would invalidate my comments. It would make my comments redundant. Okay, that's not how logic works either. You can't dismiss my comment and spend 5 paragraphs responding to it. That's not redundancy, that's a contradiction. Ad hominem without justification, once justification is provided, is simply secular. This is a wild reinterpretation of logic. Attacking someone's character is still ad hominem, justified or not. You're not offering justification. And for the record, secular doesn't mean I insulted you after making the point, so it's fine. A sequitur is a logically connected conclusion, not a license to follow valid points with personal attacks. The sequence of words doesn't make it a logical progression. If the conclusion targets the person and not the premise, it's still a fallacy, no matter how you title it. You're just renaming the tactic to make it sound valid. This is not an attack on your person, this is simply stating an observable fact. No, it's rhetorical sleight of hand. You're posturing as neutral while continuously undermining my credibility, calling my perceptions flawed, my experiences misguided, my understanding poor. That's not objectivity. That's tone-polished gaslighting. The problem with reframing insults as observable facts is that it doesn't make the point more valid, it just tries to sneak it past scrutiny. You're still attacking credibility, you're just softening the language and hoping no one notices. It doesn't land cleaner, it's just quieter, failing all the same. You're trying to save face by accusing me of fallacy. No, you just didn't pay attention to the video. That's a you problem. You've defaulted to condescension rather than acknowledging multiple valid readings. You present yours as absolute, then frame misunderstanding as a moral failure. That's not a discussion, that's dogma. And the clearest indicator of this was never about the truth. Why would anyone double down on something that they're so clearly wrong about? That's not a question rooted in curiosity, that's ego reacting to resistance. This entire exchange reveals the difference between arguing to protect pride and debating to surface truth. I didn't respond to prove superiority, but to correct a misrepresentation. You claimed logic was your first language, so I delivered it through debate, structured, sourced, and consistent. Debate is how logic is tested. I've used it to show your claims don't hold up, not because I need to be right, but because accuracy matters. I didn't come here to debate. I left a comment to share how well my Mac handles real-world workloads, especially relevant since the video is about someone contemplating switching to a Mac. I like the video, support the creator, that's it. You jumped in, dismissed my experience, and when I asked a simple question, why do my Macs regularly hit 100C, you doubled down, labeled my experience as misguided, and kept escalating. So I responded, not to argue, but to clarify. You assumed authority, I brought receipts, I'll keep bringing them, because every one of these comments boosts the video's engagement and doubles as a public masterclass on how to cook. A self-proclaimed expert, Chef Will. Chef Will. All right, that was a long, out of the way break. Hopefully I get a response soon and not in a day or two, because the first few, it took them a while to come back with. I'm just like, man, you're kind of slow, bro. I guess it takes him a lot of effort. I wrote whatever I wrote in like 20 minutes. Oh shit, it's I'm supposed to be going to watch Atlanta. Sometimes I don't think people realize that just because I act like I don't know things, because I do that a lot. Like I don't lead with what I know or my accomplishments or what I have. I'm pretty silent about those things unless, maybe somehow I'll somehow get on the topic and I'll kind of bring up certain things. But generally, I'm kind of low key, like I'm, kind of quiet. So sometimes people don't realize that I am that person, and he wants this attention. That's how I'm gonna frame it. He wants the attention and I'm gonna give it to him. All right. where was I in my work that I was doing? We're not creating a new issue right now. But yes, how was that? Was it too much of a cook? Oh, actually, you know what? Should we go and test some of what he's saying is not ad hominem or circular logic or all the other things that he's claiming aren't true? Something tells me that he's not really trained in rhetoric in the same way that I may be. I don't even think he realizes that his thought, what do you call it? I'm forgetting words. His train of thought is not good. It's not clear at all. It's kind of meandery, you know. It's almost as if he can't stick to a point. Don't take my live streams for me not being there. I can stick to points. I just in these live streams, they're kind of just like, I don't really care too much. I just do stuff. All right, so there's at least one issue. Yeah, it remains open. I'm assuming there are no more. Huh. Where did I? Oh, it's right here. I support. Yeah, these need to be labeled, like triaged. Explicitly calls out. Okay, so this should be under contributing. Yeah, contributing. Labeling. It's just make it easier to know what to do. Okay, so yeah, this is labeling. Oops. Labeling issues makes it easy to know what I can work on, since I can filter the issue list that way. As a new contributor, it's not just okay. Sure, issue board is up to date. Okay, yeah, I think that's where I left off. Ensure the issue board is up to date. Also, they should be triaged. I think this should go under here. All right, yeah, there we go. Okay, labeling issues is a part of the triage process. This is also useful for keeping the board those issues we worked on quickly with a quick reason. So it doesn't look as if you're being unresponsive. Let's see here. Wow, you should link the video. I'll go like your comments. I mean, that's not necessary. I was being real. Like, I am not doing it to be like a one. It's just like you wanted to engage, so I will. It's fun for me, but I'll share it. I'll put it in the in this chat for you. In the the YouTube chat. Also, like I would highly recommend you check out his videos. He's really funny. I've been subscribed to this dude for years. Like, I don't know, like 4, 5, 6 years. Something ridiculous. It's been a long time. His videos are great. They're funny, you know. To me they are, at least. Okay. Where was I at? Oh, okay. All right. Sure. So we have triage issues. Maybe I shouldn't say triaging. I should say triage issues. Keyboard up to date. Yeah, this was the issue. That seems pretty cool. Now let's see, is there... I forgot how you do the advanced, or can you even do that? Where it's like, which one is the most useful? It's been so long since I've done this. No, this isn't. I forgot how you get to the advanced search for issues. Oh, okay, there's one. LMS server status --JSON should only return JSON. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is the only issue. Hold on. Here's my desk. This is the only issue that was marked as a good first issue, and it was resolved a long time ago. It's currently April. That's 2 months. So yeah, anything that's labeled good first issue, there should be extra attention paid to like doing that. Let me put that in here. So there is one. I think I put this in my notes here. Not mistaken. Yeah. And I didn't even include the thing, but that's okay. So we'll gotta contribute. Oh yeah. The one PR submitted is still open after 2 months. Okay, so we'll come over to here. think I'm done with that section, hopefully, maybe. So yeah, I've done this. It's clear. There could be more. Check for contribution. Yeah. Is there a code of conduct? Technically, a code of conduct could be, it's not required per se, but I think GitHub Desktop had one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we should have that. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we got a code of conduct. Let's go back to what I was looking at. Contributor license agreement. Okay. So there is no code of conduct, so we'll it doesn't work that way. Pretty sure there's license in here. Yep, license. Change log or release notes. Let's go take a look at releases. No, there are not. I wonder if it's even being released through GitHub. I don't see an action for how this is being built. So yeah, I mean, if possible, I would make it available here. And you can even put in the packages too. GitHub package registry. Yeah, GitHub package registry. I can see why though. I guess it's because it ships with LM Studoo, but maybe there's benefit to having it all together, of course, but like maybe there is also some benefit of having it versioned separately and pushed out separately. I don't know, I'm not gonna get into that. I don't think it's that important. Yeah, I've already done this. So responsiveness, quick response, but slow execution. I'll merge. Labels and triage. Yeah, we've already looked over that. Community engagement. We've looked at that already. There's also a Discord, but that's not GitHub, so I'm going to ignore that. So that's done. All right, so SDK and CLI API Service Explorer, SDK exports, and typings. Okay, let's go do that. So I'm going to approach this from the use case of a developer who's using the product. And what that means is that instead of going to the source code, I am going to go to my little project that I was working on the other day, the fake project that I did. Let's see, is it here? App. This right here. So what I'm interested to see is, am I going to get, what do you call that? Type completion, right? So I have a client. Let's see, if I hover over it, I don't get docs. Okay. I want to know, what is this thing? You know, give me some JSTS docs. In addition to that, what is this LM Studoo client constructor ops? As part of TS doc, you can give an example of what that looks like. I think WorkOS does a very good job here. I don't know if I have that repo. I don't. Yeah, you know what? I think I kind of do, as in a branch. Let's see, this is. Oh, this is not the right thing. We'll go into the client. Branches do I have? Check out, what did I call that branch? WorkOS. Don't tell me I deleted it. Okay, let's see, WorkOS. Perfect. Okay, I didn't delete it. It's still here. Great. So then let's go to off. I think that's what I named it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I want to say, yeah, see? It has these like, what does it do? What are these params? And I think one of them also has, it's in auth, I think, here. Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna say, I think one of them has an example of how you set it up. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, that's something that I would want to see. So let me go and take a screenshot. Let's see if we get some types. We do. All right. Yeah. See right here, you can tell that this is a JS or a TS doc. They all start like this, and it just needs to be filled out. And then each one of these, these could also have their own comment in line. Some of them do, like this right here, the one that's deprecated. So it's done here. Okay. It's done here. Guess the base URL LM Studoo is gonna look close. This is private. I mean, technically documentation here is only for, developers, which is still useful. Each one of these would be nice just for making it easier for others to contribute. And yeah, here, there is an example. So if we use this client constructor ops, this has an example. This is what I was saying I want, this right here. But we should also state, what is this class? Like, what is that doing? Okay, so we get a client. Let's see. Yeah, as I go through these, I want to know what are these things? Or is this just a namespace? Okay, so it's just a namespace. All right, it does say that. Diagnostic namespace. Okay, so it's namespaced. So let's say I want to go into embeddings. Okay, this is good. So now I get docs as well. Well, when I say docs, I mean like, what does it do? But in addition to that, there are examples of how to use it. Does anyone know how to change the size of this? Can I resize this? Oh, never mind. Never mind. I have learned something today. My life has suddenly become easier. Okay, the return handle is not tied to any specific loaded model. Okay. So it's saying that, wait, hold on. If you have loaded a model with the identify my model, you can use it like this. I'm not seeing. I'm confused. Here's why I'm confused. I'm on my client, but I'm in my embedding namespace, and I do see the create dynamic handle, but in the doc, it's on the LLM side. Whereas here, I'm in embedding. So these examples, even though they may effectively be the same under the embedding, it's still confusing to me. Because like I can't be sure, right? If I'm new to this, I don't know. All right, query model, okay. Give me an example. Yeah, and again, the example is on the LLM. I would want this to be on the embedding, which is what I'm doing. Okay, so we have an identifier, which is a string. And that's happy. So let's see if there's also one of these on the LLM side. There is. All right, so that's where these examples I think are coming from. This create dynamic handle must be in like an abstract class or like a base class or something like that. Yes, look at that, I was right. It's an abstract class. It's part of the model namespace. It could be load model, model instance info, which extends to model instance info base. Dynamic handle of instance, okay. So this is fine and all, but maybe the examples can include what it would look like on the embedding and all that kind of stuff. Or maybe it's the same, maybe it's no difference. Now, if there is no difference, let's see if the docs clarify that anywhere. And hide that, we don't need that anymore. Let's go to LM Studoo docs. And this is the TypeScript SDK. And it's probably under embeddings. Oh, API reference is probably better. No. Okay, the API reference is incomplete. Seems that way to me at least. Let's go to text embeddings. Yeah, embeddings, model. So yeah, there's some things that are not clear here. Like, what do I use this? Where is it at? Where did it go? Oh my gosh, I just lost it. LMS. We're not worried about that right now. Okay, I'm gonna move this app to here so I don't confuse myself so much. Oh shit, what did I just close? I don't know what I just closed. That was an accident. All right, I had to go, man. See, that person was right. I do have a poor memory. But this is why I do what I'm doing right now. Like, I can come here and just go and look to see what the hell was that I just closed. Okay. Which that kind of, if there is, and this is what? There's some things that are not. Where is it? It's lost it. Don't confuse. I don't know what I just closed. All right, I had to go, man. Please be Finder. That I closed. See, that person was right. I do have a poor memory. Okay, it must have been Finder. I do what I'm doing right now. Like, but it's not. Here. I don't know. Never mind. I failed at this, but that's okay. I'll move this to over here. I'll figure it out when I'm trying to figure out like how come something's missing, and it'll come to me at that point. Oh, wait a minute. I just discovered what it was. In fact, I'm going to move my research discovery type stuff here. Yeah, there we go. I closed my text editor. Oh, excuse me. So I'm assuming that this create a dynamic handle just gives me a way to name this something differently. Or, look here, represents a query for a loaded LLM. Get a dynamic model handle for any loaded model that satisfies a given query. Note the returned handle is not tied to any specific loaded model. Instead, it represents a handle for a model that satisfies a given query. If the model that satisfies the query is unloaded, the handle will still be valid, but any method calls on it will fail. And later, if the new model is loaded that satisfies the query, the handle will be usable again. You use the dynamic handle get model info to get information about the model that's currently associated with the handle. Okay. I guess so. It's just a way to reference this, so it's literally a handle. So this would be like my embedding handle. And then on this, there should be some properties that give me info. Yes. I get the model info, batch size. So there seems to be some relationship between the embedding as well as the, I mean, obviously there isn't a relationship, obviously, but a deeper one, a more meaningful one. LMS handle equals client. Create dynamic handle. Let's see if it gives me the same. It should, because it's a class. Oh no, it's different. Okay, so it's definitely typed differently. Wait a minute. Something just broke. So it does have this, but there's some other things that it also has. Spell this, even though it's not really that important. I do want to spell it right. Let's see if there are any other namespaces that expose that type of thing. Diagnostics, nope, okay. But I can stream the logs, that's good to see. Files, nope, but I can prepare an image as well as prepare an image using base 64. Huh? Prepare file, are these deprecated? Huh, is it deprecated or it just shouldn't be used right now? As a temporary file to LM Studoo returns a file handle. Deprecated normally means that it existed and it's going to be removed, but this seems like it's going to be added in the future. I don't know if deprecated is the right word to use. Let's see, is there an alpha or do not use? JS doc. So there's a deprecated. I thought there was like a alias, not alias, alpha or do not use or something like that. So there isn't one. So I guess deprecated is the best one, kinda, but not really, because you know this is what it means. Isn't there an internal maybe? No, there's not. Actually, yeah, that's probably there's no direct analog, but I would probably use that. Like, I wouldn't want to, but that's what I would end up using too, because that's the thing that best communicates to a developer. Hey, you probably shouldn't use this. But yeah, all right. And obviously, I can go and when I pull down the code, and just when I'm doing my tests to see how easy it is to contribute. Then at that point, I can change the JS doc to see what the behavior is in the IDE or in a text editor like this that respects JS doc. So if you use ignore, if it doesn't show up, great. Like it's there, but you know it's not showing up. And I would say you probably want to use ignore. Okay, so I can prepare an image, but that's not what I'm interested in. Let's see what else. Repository is there? Okay, I can search models. There's a lot of deprecated things. Oh, these aren't deprecated. These are coming for the future. Is there an alpha? Let's see. JS doc. Alpha. Annotation. I've never extended JS doc, so I don't know if you can extend it or not. Guess not. Okay, well, yeah, like that's probably the best one. Second best would be ignore, to omit it from the documentation, which maybe that's even better. But my question now is like, well, TypeScript is let's see, ts dot. Oh, look at that. Look at that. There is an alpha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. We should, if it's using TypeScript, this should be using tsdoc, which is very similar to JSdoc. But this right here is useful. The alpha, beta, that's what I was looking for. That better communicates what it is, or even experimental. Yeah, this right here is useful as well. Private remarks. This is useful if you want to have people start contributing to the project as they start to go through the code base. Documentation is in the code is really the only thing that they have that's going to help them see the light per se. Okay, so we have the repository, and there's only one thing I can do. I can search models, which takes in a model search option. All right, compatibility types is an array of, compatibility type, which is a enum. Okay. So let's see, ref limit. What is this? What does limit expect to be? It's a number. How many results to return if not provided? This value will be decided by LM Studoo. I would like to know, how is this decided by LM Studoo? Is there a setting somewhere that I can configure, or what is that default? Is it dynamic? Is it fixed? Lots of questions here. So we'll say that this is 8. Search term. What is search term? Is it a string? It is a string. The search term to use when searching for models. If not provided, recommended models will be returned. So what should I put here? Like, what's an example? And what is this going to return to me? It's going to return an array of model search results. And I gotta wait this. Okay. We'll do one of those. Oh, okay. Why isn't it not? Fine, okay. All right, so let's see what each one of these models has. So we'll grab the first model from the result. I can get download options, promise array, model search download option, is exact match, or is staff pick, or get the name. So the name is a property. Let's just do that. So it shuts up about me reading stuff. All right, this is a promise. So we'll constl options. See what we get out of here. All right, I get an array back. Okay. Destructor here. So I get a download. The download the model returns a model key, which can be used to load the model. Wait, download the model returns a model key. Okay. So it returns the key and not a Okay, I'm confused by what this is doing. I'll have to go and look at the code. In fact, let's start doing that now. This is the JS framework, so I need to pull that down anyways. So we'll clone repo. This is LM Studio -AI / LM. Oh man, I don't remember what it's called. I didn't mean to do that. I'll look at that later. I just need this last bit here. All right, that's gonna go in AI, JS, cool. The authenticity of host GitHub can't be established. No, don't continue right now. No, cancel. That's okay. The reason why is because I forgot that I need to fork this anyways. I wonder if that's a bug. So we'll get the latest bits. Oh, they added a new filter here. Oh, that's cool. Huh. Thought I wouldn't notice. That's cool, this new filter. And oh wait, no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe. Oh wait, whoa. Oh no, this is a branch compare. I forgot about this. Never mind. Okay, so let's try to get this cloned again. This time I'll just search for it. LM Studio JS. What do you mean it contains a file? It seems to be cloning. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something's really weird here. right, it only sets the default. To learn more about default repository run. Why is this the default? I wasn't expecting to be fighting my tools right now. All right, whatever. I can set it later, so that's good enough. So let's add it now. So existing. There we go. History. Cool. So what are the things that I said that I wanted to see? I've already forgotten. Oh, download. That's what I want to see. So let's look for get download options. That's definitely a symbol here. All right, we'll find it. It's probably gonna be maybe in publish, the SDK source. No, it's not here, but I see the exported types. So we get chat, tool, raw function, chat. Okay, none of these are it. Exported types. All right, we have LLM, but maybe that is the namespace. LMS client. Ah, okay. So it looks like a lot of stuff is in some type of client thing. Where is that at? Packages. Here we are. So they have their own packages that they're using. Got it. So we have a client and we have, is that LLM? Yeah, probably. So I'm looking for a specific type called a model search result. Oh wait, no, this isn't a repository. Oh, my bad. I'm looking in the wrong place. Let's see if I can find it this way. Repository. Okay, here's the repository namespace. Go here first. There's a logger, search model. Okay, here we are, search models, which is going to return a model search entry. Go look here. Okay, and then this get download options returns a search download option. Here we are. And download, here we go. Download the model, returns the model key, which can be used. So it downloads it, I guess. So this is part of their infrastructure. This validator, do some validate. Okay, we don't care about that. Create a promise, don't care about that right now. Channel list repository, create channel. I wonder if this channel is so that you can cancel it. Is there like an on cancel or what do you call that? A cancellation token type thing? Repository port. So I remember this port is like a WebSocket thing. Switch. We get a message type, download in progress. So yeah, it is actually downloading. And it seems to be an event type thing. So these callbacks only get called. All of these are going to get called at some point. It's the life cycle here. So this is going to be running or just existing. And then for each one of these messages, these things are going to happen. And then it returns on success. It's going to return the result. Okay, I see what it's doing. So it actually downloads the thing. And then when it's done, it returns the identifier the thing is just downloaded. Okay, well that answers what this does. It actually does download. But where does it download the model to? That's now that's the other question. Like, where is it actually going to download this to? Create channel, download model, download. Options on progress message. So I wonder if this create channel with this download model. Wait, how come I can't get to here? Where's this repository port at? Here. LMS external backend interface. All right, here we go. I don't know why it's not taking me to the definition here. All right, well, that's fine. We'll get to it this way. Base model backend, embedding, file backend, LM backend interface. Which one are we getting? Repository. Repository backend interface. So it's probably this. This is all it? Oh, okay, yeah. So it's just, wait, no, it's not just that. Backend parameter. It's using RPC. Got it. So there should be one for download. There we go. Create parameter Z object download identifier. Oh, so it's typings. To client packet discriminator union type. Object little download progress. So this is just the that event, the event handler. That's what all of these are. The download progress start success. Start package. Downloads one singular artifact of a certain revision. Yeah, I'm still not clear where it downloads to. Maybe that's in this base. No, these are all just like type definitions. This is why I say like having some type of documentation that explains how this works would be useful. If you know, if we want to expect people to contribute. Anyway, I've been streaming for 2.5 hours now. If y'all have words to say, I'm happy to say for a little bit longer. Otherwise, I'm gonna dip. So I'm gonna stay here for like a minute because I know there's a delay in the stream. You know, give y'all some time to debate on whether or not y'all want me to just go off and go watch Atlanta. That's what I'm gonna go do. I've been rewatching the first 2 seasons because my friend hasn't seen it. I haven't seen the first 2 seasons in a long time. So I've already done this. Check for auto-generated docs. Yeah, we've done that. Evaluate error messages. I haven't done that. I should do that. See a lot of command and options. I've kind of done that, but I haven't done any testing. No auto-completion, user experience afforded. Yes, I've done that. Okay. I just configured Kafka and Kubernetes with outdated documentation. I'm tired. Why are you using Kafka? Or in Kubernetes? Oh, not Kafka. I'm sorry. Why are you using Kubernetes? Why are you using that? Yes, Atlanta the show, and no, it's not still on. I have the show. I finished it. Season 4 was the last season, and I am of the opinion that great shows are shows that you can watch multiple times and still like uncover new things. So with Atlanta, it's just one of those types of shows where I think you have to watch it, you know, more than once over the years. So the first time I saw season 1 was when it came out. I don't even know when that was, but it's years ago. So it feels like I'm watching a new show because I don't remember most of it. I just remember I liked it. Same with season 2. Oh, dude, season 4 is phenomenal. Like, really. It's like peak Atlanta, you know, just think about everything Atlanta is. It's like they really knew what they were at that point. I think the first season, you know, it's new, right? Like, you don't really know. It was kind of, it had more story that followed along, but as it, you know, continued to progress, it started to get more into that sense of, yeah, Atlanta's just like, it's a 30-minute show effectively, and within each one of them, the stories are all very different. They don't really progress in time per se, even though they kind of do to a certain. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain. It's just it's a good show. You should see season 4. It's dope. This is something that I need to do soon. I've already done that. Try using the app alongside. Okay, I haven't done that. Well, actually, no, I have done that, but I need to get more into that. Extensibility, dev tooling, review customization. Haven't done any of that. Comparative evaluation. Oh yeah, Llama. I think there's another one that exists that I need to add to this list. I gotta go find it. Yeah, still have a lot of work to do. So I managed to get through this. Actually, I have one other thing. So I created that SRT, and I'm gonna have ChatGPT. So here, I have ChatGPT. So let's see if ChatGPT can do this. This is a agent technically that's been trained to do this type of task. And I'm using ChatGPT because this is kind of what I use as my benchmark. And I hate to say it, but it's my benchmark because I know what to expect. Whereas when I start to do all of these models locally, which you can see here, I have one loaded up right now. These are going to be running on my machine, but I'm going to compare it against ChatGPT. And I also have an OpenAI account where I can do stuff. We're at 86 gigabytes of RAM. Oh man, I need to turn off Wireshark because it's just collecting all these things, dumping it into memory. Yeah, let me go ahead and close Wireshark. I don't need it right now. All right, work hour, 1 hour, 51 minutes. I'm starting, I'm finished with the integration. I'll have to go and verify, but okay, it's saying 2 hours. I don't know if I trust that number because I know I didn't actually start working on it at the beginning of the stream, and the stream is only like 2 hours. Yeah, do that. Yeah, you should. You gotta watch it. Okay. All right, I think it's time to call it. So yeah, if you made it this far and you enjoyed the stream, a thumbs up helps, you know, just saying. You can subscribe if you want, but a thumbs up helps more. Anyway, I'm out. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Peace.